All right, sending data. I should be streaming on YouTube in a second here, and I'll explain why I'm doing it this way. Just because I like having that little lobby area where people can pull up and just join in for a minute and catch a vibe. But all right, looks like we're good to go there. So, without further ado, what's up? Oh, hold up. Where's it at? Where's it at? What's up, gang? Welcome back. This is GM Chat. Not GM Chat, but it's GM. This is GM Chat. Just my morning space. We used to host this every single day. It looks like we're going to be able to probably do that again. I wanted to kick it off on a Friday just because the vibes have been there all week long. Shout out to Nikita with turning the on switch and bringing the vibes back. I think that definitely helps with a lot of different things, regardless of what you're doing in the space. So that's a W. But let's see. It's Friday, July 17th. Looks like the last time I did a stream was almost 2 months ago, which is kind of crazy. But hey, maybe I did it like a random one, but like a scheduled one like this, I haven't done in a while. So definitely want to kick that off. I've been hearing a lot of people starting to stream or getting into their streaming saying that they're going to get, I don't know, kickbacks or something like that. Like X is really going to be favoring that. And I do believe that. That's why I started about 2 years ago. I believe that X is trying to compete with the likes of YouTube, TikTok, and all the different reasons. Why? Or because people can use it and access that stuff easily. They can curate their own content. And once you get monetized by it, you start to see it differently. It's like, okay, certain updates happen, certain things happen with the premium stuff, like style of things, not even just monetization, but it gives you a different direction of how to go about it. So the way I see it, like the reaction videos, I tried them out for a week, just doing them like 5 to 10 a morning. And I know that that increases your posts, but again, I think that they built stuff for people to use it. So I started to use it and I had probably one of the biggest payouts I had in general, probably from that day. So I kind of curate that a little bit differently. But overall, I think that streaming in general is pretty dope. I think that that's just the way that people are going. I think there's a likeness to the user generated content to the real, like the real person. So sometimes when you see my videos and if I stutter on a word or mispronounce it or something stupid like that, I just leave it because it's like, all right, well, that's the human element. That's reality. I think a lot of people couldn't understand and connect to that. And I think that that's why these guys that have a lot of resources for marketing budgets and all that stuff, they still can't compete with the guy that's just hungry enough to do it and doesn't try to make it fancy. And it's not my idea. That's something that I took from Gary Vee, where he was like, fuck it, just do it. Use what you got. And I see the biggest hurdle I think people come into when they start making content and doing all this is trying to be perfect from the gate. And you don't have to be. You just do what you do, man. Like that'll be your signature. You'll fix what you suck at. The reason I say that is because I started doing this when really nobody else was. I didn't know how to stream. I was trying to do the old OBS, blah blah blah. But for me, the easiest thing to set up that what I use is Restream. It makes it super simple. If I get a producer, sure, use OBS, put all the extra shit in there. That's great. I'm down. Excuse me. But again, if you guys got any topics that you want me to take a look at and touch on that I don't cover as far as Solana ecosystem news, whatever, let me know in the chat. Shout out to Casey. He's out here. Gary Vee is the man. He definitely is, man. He has a lot of good things to think about. You don't have to take exactly what he says like for law, but take what you see, create what you want, kind of thing. And success leaves clues. So for me, it's always been about quantity and consistency and getting better in time. I think that's the key to a lot of this stuff. So just use what you got. And if you were starting to stream or if you want to stream and you want to try it out, you've never done this before, just let me know. Like literally you can come up here and I show everybody this. And a lot of the people you see streaming for, whatever, streaming now for the first time, they came onto the show because I showed them you could just be a PFP just like this. Let me see. Is this going to come up? See that guy down in the corner? It'll be just like that, or you can, put your face on there. It doesn't really matter. But if you want to try it out, you just let me know. You come on here and co-host with me, press buttons, make some mistakes. It's a lot of fun. So I definitely encourage you guys to try it out. I'm starting to do a little bit more live streaming on TikTok because I think that there's a lot of opportunity over there as well. But nevertheless, just do what feels right. Don't try to push it too much and have fun with it. And I think that you'll win overall. But yeah, that's that. But as far as anybody new to the stream, anybody that hasn't seen this before, I'm SMS. I'm the founder of Solana Made Simple, and it's always been pretty clear what I'm trying to do is take technical ideas and make them super easy for everybody to understand. Make it like a simple process. I think crypto doesn't have to be confusing. I think a lot more people would understand that if they have somebody that can break it down like that. When we're in this echo chamber, like we take it as common knowledge, but as soon as you go outside of this and you talk to people, they look at you like you're crazy. They're like, "Nah, I just use Coinbase or Kraken. That's all I've ever used before," and that's good because you can buy Bitcoin there, and you can buy Solana, and you can buy Ethereum, and you can buy XRP and all that kind of stuff. But they don't even understand what self custody is. They don't really know about what happened at FTX. They thought that that's just a scam. So breaking it down so anybody can understand it and building a community around that has been the ethos for me. It's cultivate a better space moving forward by changing the things that you don't like or being the change that you want to see. And sometimes that comes back with a little bit of kickback. But if you just stand your ground on that stuff, I'm telling you right now, the right people come to you and the wrong people will leave. And it's pretty evident when it comes down to that. But like I said, it's been a while since I did this, so I want to just kick things off and catch up with what's going on with me. Most of you guys know that I kind of just transplanted myself out to Kansas City, Missouri, from Delaware, Philadelphia area, or out there on the East Coast. Over the months, I've been doing a lot behind the scenes, reorganizing the Solana Made Simple, what it really is, what it really represents, and how that fits with the whole kind of like an umbrella thing now, because I've done other things like creating SMSAI.fun, which is your AI guide to the Solana ecosystem. It's really, really good for new users. It's one of the first 1,000 DApps on the Solana Seeker, which I'm very proud about. So if you haven't used it before, you can go check it out and download it on your Seeker, and you can go check it out in the browser and get it up. It's just I don't have the Vercel updated, so I'm just trying to get to that point. That's why you see me with the basic one, no videos and stuff like that for this, but we'll get there. But building a lot of things behind the scene to make sure that we have it available. Like I have a sign out here that's like a 4-step process for people to get onboarded into the Solana ecosystem by simply going to the website, and in 5 questions, you'll have all the steps that you need to open up a wallet of your choice. And I have 4 different options up there. So um, that's part of like what I've been doing. That's one of the things, like I said, the umbrella around Solana Made Simple. One of the things I realized, not everybody has time to tune into a stream. They don't have time to watch the entire thing, so they might miss something. Typically, people don't just stop and go check out your content. They say, I'll check it out later. They bookmark it and they might forget about it. A lot of your traffic is going to be coming from new users, websites, and people that are already searching it up, already looking for that. So I realized there's a little bit of an issue there. I needed to create something that's going to be able to deliver the exact information in a simple, complex way. So what I was able to do was create an app that kind of mimicked my style, my voice, and I kind of update that over, every so often, do iterations on that, just to update what I'm doing and the database that's actually in there. It's also tied into Solana Foundation, so it has all of the updated information, and I have it tracking a lot of the news and stuff that comes out. So you have everything that's up to date. Sometimes you get something that's a little bit older, but you just ask it a question, and it can usually figure that out. But again, this thing's down right now, but it is your onboarding guide. It's your AI guide. Like I didn't think I was going to use it, and it turns around, I start using it to make content. I was, just looking up information so I can, make my content better and have the right information, just getting the key headlines I needed, but then I needed to find out the bits and pieces. So, that's one of the things I've been doing. And when I came out here to Kansas City, I realized there's a ton of opportunity. Like there's literally commerce, like every corner you go to, there's just a lot of people spending money. I mean, in general, you see the World Cup was here, and that was big enough for me to realize, like, okay, there is attention in this area for a reason. So why don't I look at opportunities that aren't being done? Like, I've met more people from crypto Twitter in real life here than I did back home, and apparently there's a huge community out there in Philadelphia and New York and all that. I mean, I did meet a lot of people going up to New York skyline. I can't say that, but anyway, as far as just the common like hanging out and getting together, there wasn't a lot of that going on, at least for me and what I could get to. So out here, I decided, since there's nothing I really could see, there wasn't much of a footprint or anything like that. I figured Solana Midwest sounded like a good name, and might as well build a community around that. Start on crypto Twitter with who is available, but my idea is to get more of the people outside of this ecosystem, outside of crypto Twitter, the actual users. And on top of that, it's figuring out a way to curate my content, my information, to a place where not just investing, speculating. Like, yes, I want you to get involved with meme coins and understand what that is. I'm not going to say put all of your money into it. I want you to understand how the ecosystem works, because I think comprehension is a lot longer lasting than attention. So great, let me get your attention, but can I keep you around? Can you understand what you're getting into? Can you go home and explain this to somebody? And it doesn't have to be complicated or technical or anything like that. It could be simple as, hey, I checked this out, blah, 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 blah. I have this AI guide if I get stuck. And then there's resources available on top of there to get in contact or follow along with the content, because that does help out a lot. So that's a lot of like what I've been doing to build like what is Solana Midwest. And for me, it's looking at small business owners and finding ways that we can tokenize, not tokenize what they're doing, but bring that into a global community, a wider audience, and figure out a way to do a thing like what Credible is doing and create a payment rail that's B2B rather than B2C. It's something that I think is the future, finding ways to be able to market out to them to settle their payments on the back end in stablecoins, because they save so much money doing that. And what you need to do is be able to accept whatever they're already bringing in. Credible is able to do that B2B, but B2C or B2C, B2B is going to be the next step. And that's something that I'm looking around for opportunities right now, specifically with small business owners that I can get involved to Solana Midwest so they can understand what is going on here. The other part about Solana Midwest is I just want to hang out with crypto people. Like I want to get together with people and talk about what they're building, what they're into, the collections they have. So one of the things that I did was go down to the market down on River Market, City Market. Apparently they're the same thing. I went to it last Sunday and I couldn't find my my boy and like his stand and all of that. So I just kept walking around and checking out, just kind of getting a little bit of the temperature, gauging the audience. And there's a lot of people there all day long. It starts at 8 a.m. and it goes to 3 p.m. So I'm going to get a booth. I'm going to get banners set up. It's going to take me a little bit of time to get this stuff, but I'm going to get that set up. So that's a place where anybody that's in the Kansas City, Missouri, or anywhere around here that can get here easily, just for like the first couple ways of doing something, showing a presence here, and to bring more people involved. So I can go to Top Golf, for instance. It's going to be sponsored by a couple companies you probably heard about. A couple people have committed to it and given either inventory or funds just to get things going. But we're looking to bring 10 to 20 people together to play Top Golf. I've never golfed. I'm not a golfer. You don't have to be a golfer. You can just go and have fun and check it out and be part of the one of the very first meetups and things like that. I can't say the very first meetup because me and Ben and Trey all went to the World Cup. Tangent, I was working with them, was doing some content. They asked if I would be interested. And I said, oh, absolutely. I'd love to go to the World Cup. But I was going to be by myself. So they said, hey, if you have some other creators, I'd love to bring them in. So I was able to get them some tickets and go out there. So that was technically the first Solana Midwest outing, meetup, whatever you want to call it. We did do some interview stuff. I don't know if the audio is that good because I haven't seen any of the edits. Trey, if you're watching, I'd love to see that. Just kidding. But doing that is kind of like the goal, kind of like the idea of what I want to do is bring communities together or create a community in general, in a place that doesn't have it. It also gives people a reason to come out to Kansas City and check it out and see what it's all about. If we can do like a weekend thing with an experience and an activation like that with sponsors, I think that there's endless opportunity because this isn't like a 10 grand project. We could probably do this with a few $100s just for a night out or a weekend type thing. It just has to be, if people want to. But like my biggest point is bringing people in the area to this already. Like I'm not so focused on, will everybody be able to fly in? Like probably not. Not that's not reality. Most people have other things going on. So, but what I'm trying to do is bring the people and then show them how to use Solana right now. Like they don't have to be builders. They don't have to be VCs, investors. They have to be somebody that's curious about crypto and wants to learn like all about this thing and get involved. Everything's on Solana. It's already there. They have everything they need right there in the palm of their hands. They basically have like Einstein, Elon Musk, and Tolly and Raj all in one little thing, and maybe Nikola Tesla just because of 369 and all of that fun stuff. But you get the point. So that's kind of where we're at with that. I want to do a lot of like things. I have huge ambitions. Like when it comes to this, it's one of those things that I just feel like is super, super real and super, super possible. So I'm going to continue to go in that direction. So that's a little update on that. As far as what else I've been doing, as far as work side of things, I did have a good little foundation starter up here. The funniest thing in the world is I thought that what I was told was they were, willing or looking to kind of part ways with me as I was like one Friday, I brought my laptop into work so I could fill out applications. I just wasn't trying to be there anymore. I was going to put in my 2 weeks and just say, I got to make a decision for myself. I cannot do this anymore. Like people suck there, honestly. Besides Trey, the people just kind of suck. But they said it was too mean. So I don't know. Maybe maybe I could understand if people in other areas are like, "Oh, you're a little sharp or whatever." I don't know, scrappy. I've heard a lot of different comments about me. I don't really care because it's nothing personal. It really isn't. It's nothing I wouldn't expect for myself. But I guess it's where you come from. But apparently, I was too mean, and that's why they were going to let me go. The way I like, I don't. These guys are tree fucking arborists. Like they're out there working the one of the dirtiest, shittiest jobs that I've ever had, and it doesn't pay well. It pays like you got to be top dude doing everything, but you're still underpaid. So hats off to anybody willing to do that shit. I just, phew, it's not a career. Like the guys there, I was one of the oldest guys that worked there, so that should tell you a lot as far as anybody looking to like, oh, I'm gonna work here for the no, dude. Don't be silly. There's you literally have AI. You can create a job with a little bit of fucking effort. You could probably do whatever. You get my point. But we moved on from that. I have a couple gigs going on. I have a couple things I picked up. I wanted to shout out Ratio. I'm working with them on the marketing side of things and looking for new opportunities every single day, applying more to Solana jobs. Went on LinkedIn, really like messing around on there and getting active on the boards a little bit, trying to spread that stuff around. The other stuff that I was doing was Solana Talent. I've had no luck with this thing, and I haven't seen too many people get jobs other than for Solana Talent. And like most of them are ambassadors saying that they can get you a job. And I'm like, what the hell's actually going on here? But I'm trying to figure that out. I'm trying to see if anything does pop up. I'm trying to update everything as best I can. I'm asking my like the references that I put on there. I'm going to them. The reason I'm telling you guys this is because I've seen it coming up. I see that there's a lot of restructuring. There's people being let go and parting ways and moving in other directions. So like the point is like if you are looking for a job, do everything it takes. Cold call DM type style. I sent a bunch out. I feel like I got some shitty backlash from some people, and I was like, all right, well, Jesus, all right, I can do what you said I can't. So I just prove it to myself when it comes down to that. But the other one is make sure you have your resume, make sure you have your skill sets. And one of the best things you can do is go on your X account, say, review the last 4 years of my content, my posts, my conversations, what I talked about, and have it see like what jobs you would fit on from that because you probably have a lot more skill sets than you think you do. And that's what I was able to find out when I did that 2 years ago. They got me a really comfortable office job that another job that I couldn't stand anymore and walked away from. I was doing more work on X than I was there because I automated 95% of the work, maybe 90%, but I automated as much as I possibly could. And I was able to find ways around that. So my suggestion is take Grok, have it go through your accounts, whatever you post on the most, have it read through that and come up with a resume, come up with job topics or ideas, copy that, throw that into ChatGPT or whatever AI chatbot type thing that you use and have it say like, hey, we'll tell it to be like a job professional, whatever, like that, or somebody that reviews resumes or job placements, like somebody in that field that's like an expert. Tell it to be like that, so like it thinks that way, and then say review all of my stuff here, cross reference it with what's on X, come up with the best jobs that I could do based off of this information, and then just go fucking ham. I think about I got the 13 last night. I didn't get as many done as I wanted to because I started drawing, but I'm trying to get to if well, I'm not trying to get to 100, but I'm making a rule to myself like if I don't get a job at 100, well, obviously I'm just going to keep trying, but I feel like if I set that goal so high, it's like I will keep going until I get there and something has to connect, something has to come up. And I'm looking for jobs in advertising. I'm even looking at jobs as account manager because these are skill sets that you have that directly correlate with what these people need. It's verbiage. It's understanding how to explain what you can do and apply it to what they have. I think that that's one of the things that are super important with what we do here is being able to pivot, adjust, and know that these skill sets fit in different categories, but sometimes they're slightly different. You got to like kind of work with that. But that's what I'm doing, and yeah, we'll get it. We'll make it happen. And past that, this is maybe this is the crazy irony in it. Maybe I put so much work in trying to get what I want to get to that creates its work for itself, and I don't need a job. I create a job for myself. That's likely to happen too. I'm not putting any options off the table right now because I think that makes it more fun. I get to wake up excited. Working 3 months. I'm at almost 90 days exactly coming out here. I've been like documenting the entire process. But I got to a point where I was like, you know what, I got to do this for myself. And I think that if I keep working in that direction, is likely to happen. It's just I got to work harder than I would expect myself to. And that's just kind of like the sentiment there. But on the community side of things, SMS, a lot of Made Simple, all of the stuff's growing. All of my social media like platforms, Instagram, TikTok, doing really well. Personal one, crypto side doing well. TikTok doing extremely well. YouTube's doing good. Now the thing I did was kind of like bring it all together. All of it is SMS on this channel, this whatever, like whether it's YouTube, TikTok, Insta, X, Discord, Telegram, it's SMS on that. Like even all these apps and crazy shit that we get into. The reason is it's brand continuity. Every single time that somebody says, "Hey, what's your Telegram?" They're like, "Oh, I like the play on the name and how you do that." And like it's just a lot easier because when you go to events, people say, "What's your Telegram?" Well, it's SMS on TG. They're like, "Oh shit, okay, that's easy." Well, yeah, there's other ways to get that across. But the point is bringing my content together. Like I realized, unfortunately, not everybody loves crypto and I need to grow and scale to ways where I can introduce people to crypto. So it can't be just crypto. It just cannot be. And on top of that, my other content performs extremely well compared to that. Like thousands of likes and thousands of views, lots of likes and interactions versus like hundreds. And I've seen that, and I know that it is a niche area. And I've been stubborn as fuck because I didn't want to break off. I didn't want to start a new channel. I didn't want to do anything because of the body of work I put into this. I'm like, nah, ain't happening. Like I'm dead set on that. So what I did was bring it all together. Like I said, SMS on this. SMS embodies everything now. It's the art side of things, the lifestyle, the fitness, the travel, the finance, the tech, education, all of it. All of it's under one thing now. And it might get messy for some people, might not be their cup of tea, but I think that that's fine. I think that the people that I'm trying to bring, who is my audience, what am I giving them, that is more important than like, am I going to retain the people that have been here, really not doing a lot of engagement. I want people that are fresh, that are looking for that, as well as bring people that have been here, see another side of things that maybe they weren't paying attention to. Maybe that gives them a little bit more of an idea of what's going on. The reason I say that is because when I share things on X, I know that's a little bit more personal. A lot of us have known each other for a long time, but the people that are new on YouTube, people that are watching right now, you might be wondering, like, what the hell is this guy talking about? I thought I was going to be watching crypto stuff. Well, you are, but there's a human element to this thing. There's a human side of all of this that I think that we get trapped into certain platforms and we forget. And the only reason I think and know that way is because when I leave here and I go to IRL events and I try to talk to them about crypto, they're like, shut the fuck up. Basically, I want to talk about soccer. I want to talk about football. Like they weren't keen to really having that conversation. So I'm not going to press that. I'm not going to push it. There's certain environments where that's going to work better than others. So when I started posting a little bit more on TikTok, I've used a different couple styles and genres to honestly build the account up to what it is now, but I've always sprinkled in crypto. And then I removed certain things like politics and all that kind of stuff because it does do well, but that's not my goal. That was to build I have a know-how, I have an understanding, I have a pulse on world news and what's going on, and then sprinkle in the crypto side of that and kind of segue to crypto. Seeing that lifestyle, seeing that fitness, seeing that motivational stuff does perform really well. And honestly, that's the kind of content I've been taking in. And I've been doing this other stuff where it's like, well, you have so much more experience seeing what works here and you're trying to do this other stuff here. If you can meet in the middle with that, you probably have a little bit more to cook with. Also, what you've also always wanted to like give the people, the crypto side will come from the fitness, the lifestyle, the people that are looking for the voice the relatable voice, because that's what, social media is. You're looking for people that you can relate with, people that you think are funny, interesting, or they got something that they can teach you. And I think that when you keep it pretty specific, but also like diverse, you attract a little bit more. And then you create a fan base, audience, so on and so forth. So that's what I've been doing, seeing how this stuff works. It also gets me to the point of like, I probably could help a lot of people that are stuck at certain like points where it's like, I hit this wall, I can't get past this. What is the next step? What would you do in this situation? And it's usually a really simple answer. It's just what most people don't want to do. So as far as coaching, whether it's lifestyle, whether it's growing your account, whether it's finance and just being disciplined, or whether it's exercise and nutrition, like I'm pretty fucking good at that stuff. So finding ways to package that and still bring that into what we're doing over here, I don't know. That's where I'm at. So I don't know. That's the background. That's an update. That's kind of everything. So we're going to get into the stream a little bit more today. This is a little bit more lengthy and monologue style because it's been a while since I've been here. And the reason I'm doing this is also so if anybody comes to this This is going to be the very first GM chat. If you go on YouTube, you see that it says GM chat 001, because I've never counted these things, never really gave a crap about it. But since this is a new, pretty much a fresh start, we're back to IRL content, or not IRL content, remote work and doing all this kind of work for a career. Definitely going to start documenting it and keep it going that way, because I want to organize the YouTube. I want to be able to go on there and clip stuff and have this kind of like opportunity available that I wasn't worried about it. I was worried about just doing it and getting it out there and getting better. Now that we got a little bit more experience, there's a way to kind of attack this, organize a little bit better, So that's that. That's the updates here. Let's see. How many people even pulled up here? I have no idea. I'd love to see it, because I know that there is a ton of competition with spaces now and streams in general. Like, it's hard to even find the ones that I like to go to. It looks like we got 45 views. I don't think that means viewers, but either way, it's good to see the number going up there. And one thing I used to offer to people, if you ever were watching this, you wanted to join the conversation, you wanted to jump in, I can literally send you an invite. You can pop up and you could be the PFP, or you could have your face out here just like me. We could schedule something in the future. But one of the homies that I've been trying to get on here, one of my favorite creators, somebody that I learn a lot from, is Drew. I did him I dropped a reaction video on one of his posts. Super consistent guy, super nice dude, and looking forward to bringing him on. He's looking at his schedule. He's going to get back in the DMs, but stay tuned for an announcement with that. Also, Tebow, we're doing the Tebow takeover, the studio spaces. Again, another thing that I'm starting to document, like the amount of spaces. I've done hundreds of spaces and streams, like just I'm. It's crazy the amount of like content I've done, the amount of hours that are documented, and the reason that I wasn't ever willing to start over is, this might sound a little bit dark, like, but you never know when your last day is. But if you were to, today was your last day, you have all of this content that your family, your friends get to watch. It's there forever. I mean, somebody's going to have to manage the account at some point, but this content is there for them to get. And I think that that is a really special thing that we don't typically look at like that, because it's a little dark. But at the same time, we haven't really had that before in generations, where you have this stuff from people that have passed. Like, think about the celebrities. Think about all of the people that you watch their stuff. Like, all of us have the exact same opportunity for our friends and family. It might be a little bit more personal for them, but you got to know that they're going to appreciate it. You got to know that they're going to be like, this is what this son of a bitch loved to do. And he just never stopped. And look at, he did it until the end. But I know it's a little dark, but it's reality. I've seen it, and it just made so much sense to me. And I was like, damn, I'm so glad that I branded myself with my name and my initials and everything. So if you guys don't know, Solana Made Simple, those are my initials, Sean M. Sufi. So there's that. But again, if this is your first time here, if this is the first time going through and checking out one of my streams, thank you so much. I do appreciate it. Make sure you guys repost this, tag a friend, tell them to pull up. But I'm going to get into the quote of the day. We usually do these to set the tone and get everybody kind of on the same page, same alignment, same direction. But this one is, the best way to predict the future is to create it, by Peter Drucker. I've always liked this because it reminds me that you can't wait for the perfect opportunity. This is the year of the horse for setting boundaries, making changes, and all of this kind of stuff. If you look into that kind of stuff, it kind of goes hand in hand with this. And if you wait until you have enough money, probably never will. If you wait until the right time because you're too worried about, maybe I don't have enough rent, you probably will wait too long and probably miss the opportunity. I think that personally for me, when I've been pushed into these situations, when I've been pushed into any point where it's a little harder, I fucking perform the best. And I do certain things that set me up for that. And it's not that I know, like I guess I do know. I guess I just have this confidence in myself where I believe it. But if I know I'm going to the gym every day at a certain time, and I know I'm eating a certain way every day, if I know I'm doing a certain amount of steps every single day, I know that I'm going to plan my day. I made a video about this, but I have a stack of index cards where literally every day I make a new plan, or I follow up with a plan, and then I put them on my wall right here. So this is essentially my in real time vision board about what's going on in my life, and it's chaotic and it's hectic, but I know that there are certain outcomes for doing this. It might not be the same time, might not be the way you wanted, and it might not be exactly what you asked for. But what I've learned the last 3 months is, what doesn't work out for you really does kind of work out for you. Because if I would have went to where I thought I was going to be, I might be in a bigger problem there than I was in here, which is very, very like real reality. Now that I'm here, I've created more, I've built more, I've redefined what I'm doing here, what I have to offer, and now I'm back to remote work. Is it exactly how I pictured it? Nope, not at all. But am I here? Fuck yeah. Am I going to go to the pool? Am I going to walk around? Am I going to enjoy, that part of life and the freedom that comes with it? Yep. There's a sacrifice, the comfort and the convenience. Sure. I got a bed, I got a kitchen, I've got a desk. There's literally no other distractions because I just chose not to buy certain things. I was like, nope, I just don't want to. I don't want to do that. Still didn't get a car, but everything I need is literally in walking distance. My gym's underneath me, and it's like, to me, this sounds like the perfect opportunity. I have everything I wanted exactly where I am. And when you start to be more present, something that I've been working on more and more every single day, because like practice doesn't make perfect, it makes progress. And I just want to be more present because you enjoy, you're grateful, you got this stuff, and you can kind of plan for the future. And hey, you take it as it comes and you just let it happen. And usually it works out. But that's a good one. And one more time, the best way to predict the future is to create it. So write it down, make it real, just knock it out one thing at a time. And again, when it comes down to accounts and getting to certain milestones and going those roadblocks, it's usually the work that people don't want to do. It's the simple stuff. It's the attention to detail. It's the fine tuning. It's not showing up the spaces. It's not doing streams because all that shit's really easy. It's doing the content, doing the articles, doing the threads, doing the community growth management, reach out, outsourcing, whatever the fuck it is. It's doing that work and not showing up to have the conversation about your opinions regarding this thing. You could talk about that when the time is right, and you can actually make content out of that. And that's probably what you should be doing for creators in general. And most of the people out here that are like bitching because the opportunities don't come to them. But that's that. Eventually, the work starts speaking for itself. Again, if you have a body of work, there's like, I did some numbers and I ran what I had over 9 million impressions or something like that. And like, or I don't know what the number of views. It was some kind of crazy numbers, and comparing them to some of the brands that are out right now, some of the companies' projects that are finally getting out to these social media platforms, it's like my work has just went so much further for so long, so much longer. And it's only been like 2 years that like there's no catch up now. It's like I will put my foot back on the gas pedal, and it's like as soon as I start seeing traction, it's like okay, let me do that, but let me do it better. Let me do it more. Let me do it earlier. Let me do it however the fuck I got to do it, but let me do it in a way that gets your attention. You know what I mean? Like the banana mic, people love it. The glasses, the bucket hat, that's the thing that just clicked. It wasn't a planned thing. It was like, let me just throw this on for fun. I was like, all right, you know what? That's identifiable. That's something where if you see me walking around, you never met me before, you'd be like, that's SMS right there. And it's pretty fun. I'm not gonna lie. Now the bananas, they're getting a little brown, which means they're getting ripe. But like, I got to get some new bananas because this is a fun thing. Anywhere I've gone, there's bananas, so I always have something to clip on the mic, and I know that that's one of those attention grabby things. So I'm not doing that in these streams because it doesn't need to be. You're already here for that reason, but that's for the shorts, for the reason that it helps with all of that. So people have been asking me, but that's why it's just branding myself in another way that I haven't seen before. Usually people do the shout out to Solana Spaces. They do the little this thing and fucking glasses and all that kind of stuff. And it looks cool, but usually that's people that are trying to look like something that they've never even stepped a foot on the type of street before. So you don't got to do that. It looks kind of weird. But anyway, the glasses, the bucket hat, stuff that I actually got from going to Solana events. And that's why I really like it because it adds to the lore. Why'd I go with that? Well, working with Solana Spaces, I was able to get certain merch that I showed up there. I got to file for or not file. I got to sign up as the founder. Got a founder's pass for Solana Made Simple. I was invited from Ellie and Solana, Solana's team to actually go to the event. So, it adds to the whole. Why are you here? Why are you still doing this? Even when you get like 4 likes in a video, like, well, because I love it. Because I like being here. Glasses, they came from Miami. I was down there with Trey, Okami, and Jersey Bronco. We all had them. I don't know if they still have theirs, but I definitely kept mine because I thought they were funny. And now it's like I have plans. So Solana Midwest, Solana Made Simple, IRL events. You get the picture. Now, the bananas, they're going to go bad. I can eat them. They work in my protein shakes, but going to have to buy some new ones because they look a little. I mean, I'm going to drop a video later. You'll see, but not the prettiest ones. But today we're going to take a look at the charts real quick. We're going to update you guys on a couple bookmarks, whatever I got. kind of like saved up here throughout the week. And I got a lot of content to work on this weekend regarding Rider and Tangent. Two things I want to talk about as well. Rider and Tangent, two wallets that are obviously for self custody, serve different purposes. I made a video on this. Self custody doesn't have one size fits all. It just doesn't, because you can't put your NFTs on Rider. You can't put your PNFTs and certain NFTs on your Tangent. And well, I think your ledger does accept those. So there's certain things you can and cannot do regarding self custody. So it does take a diverse set. I'm sure that somebody's going to be able to solve the problem with that. But as soon as they solve the problem with what you can put on there, do they have the recovery tag? No? Okay, well, I'm going to put a large point, like most of my like investment is going into something that I can recover if I lose everything. Can I spend with it? No, but yes, with Tangent. So now I can use the virtual pay, which you guys will see a video coming up very shortly. Um, yeah, you'll see that. Just being able to use this at a store from self custody, so you don't have to swap, go back. You literally do that straight through there. It's like a set up with a virtual visa. So stay tuned to that. That's really, really cool concept, because if you don't want to take the rider, even though you can recover it and do all of that, you can't spend from it. You still got to go from here, send it to your wallet, and then send it to another paying option. It's just a few more steps. We need to we're decreasing that friction, right? So Tangem allows that. So you can send from rider to Tangem, grab your Tangem, head on out. Know that you're good with self custody. If you lose that Tangem card, you got some backup ones and some options as well. And keep your NFT safe. I mean, I still got this ancient ledger, hasn't helped me, or hasn't let me down. And also you have Backpack and other wallets. Like I think Jupiter actually has this now, where you can lock your NFTs in there. But pick the one that works best for you. I really don't care. Everybody has a favorite football team. You should have your favorite wallet too. This whole one's better than the other, it's kind of silly, but I do think that there are better interfaces, user interfaces. But in case you guys didn't know, that seed phrase works in every goddamn wallet. And the thing is, you can go to a C prompt and you can actually do all of the same things you do through a wallet through there, if you understand the codes and the mechanics and how to actually write that stuff. Most people don't know it because they don't see their wallet as a D app or an app. That's exactly what it is. It's something to lock up your funds, show you how to do it in a nice, really good, curated way, and brand it themselves so they have something to work with. It's not just go to your C prompt and learn how to code, basically. I found that out by teaching myself a couple things and building in the ecosystem. And it's like, okay, well, it just goes down to community and usability. So I have all of them. Crazy, right? Why would I do that? Because it doesn't matter. You just work with what they got. Now, if you pay me to make it matter, you're goddamn right. You might have the best wallet in the entire world, and it solves, world hunger and everything else. But that's a different conversation. But let's get into it. Let's pull up a chart first and foremost. It doesn't look like the best day as far as charts. I know my bags are down, not looking too happy. But that's life, as they say. Wish we weren't on YouTube. I would play some music right now. But hey. All right. So if you've never seen my TA, if you've never seen my charting, you're in for a little bit of a surprise today, baby. Because this shit is kind of crazy. All right. Let's pull this up. See? Told you it was going to be good. All right. So wait, I got music on here? I forgot about that. Let's see what this is. All right, I'll play that while we're looking at charting. It's a little bit better for background noise. You know what? I want to hit up Jules. I want to see if he wants to jump on and do some charts with me. All right, so what I've been charting all the way back here, where we had the double top, FTX, cup, handle, and for you guys that don't know what a cup and handle actually is, a cup, it's gonna have to hold on. Can I do this? Yeah, it's gonna have to come down all the way around here, and it's gonna have to hit that top directly across there. So you can draw a flat line, and then this usually kicks down, and wherever this low point is, if you can grab a good idea of where that is, usually it's about 50% drawback from the top here and the bottom here. That's where you want to see it. That usually, if you miss the bottom here, this is your entry, because after this, it usually takes off, and we can see that played out. Cup, filled the cup, you got the handle, measure that. This distance right here, watch, I'll grab it over here, and it's going to show you that it's that gap right there. So you put it right over here. and you should expect this to be your top. That's your exit roughly. So you want to get out somewhere around there. If you put a little Fibonacci on there, you'd see how this shit plays out perfectly. This is your cup and or cup fill gap, whatever. Runs up here, came back down roughly about 50% right there. Boom. That's your top over here on the cup. Sweet, love it. Runs back up here. Double tops up here. Double tops right there. Both of those rejected, but this rejection continued to break down all the way, where we basically started a bear market back in October 2025. Most people don't look at it that way because they weren't paying attention. But this drastic sell-off that went basically like a free fall down here, and then again, and then right here, but it's catching itself. And if you look all the way back here, now let me zoom in on this. People called me crazy and said this is stupid. It's never going that low. I was like, you're fucking high. It definitely is, but you got to look at this purple box. I did this when we hit that all-time high back in October, just because we had this point here of a reversal where it caught that. And I said, interesting. I want to keep an eye on that. And it came up here and I said, okay, let me look back. Where have we seen this hit before? So these little circles are where we've had tops. Those are like points of interest is what I call them. Maybe there's a technical way to fucking explain that, but these are called points of interest as far as I'm concerned. And when I do that, I start to look across here and draw a line. I'm like, where does this continue to tap? Where can I see, something that looks pretty likely to go back there? And that's what I saw. I was like, all right, so it broke through that. And then I looked back again. I said, where is most of like the volume right here? Like from this run up, where did we bottom out before? So when we were up here, I said, this could go down to like 60 to 80,000 before it's going to reverse and come back up. And it played out to a fucking T. Like this was like right here. You see this little guy? It's like 59K or some shit, but it was so close to like perfectly charting that thing out. And it's because it was basically, if you cut this whole block in half, that's what really led me to believe that. And then I kind of reaffirmed myself by seeing these tops over here. I was like, okay, something around here. And then we broke out of this box. We went back up here and I said, we have to continue this trend. We have to break above these 80 to 90,000 and get close to 100 and hold that, or we're going to go back down. We had a likelihood where if it continued down this trend, we were going to go closer to 40, 50,000, but we didn't hit that. It's still not off the table. I will say that much. There is still a chance that we can go lower to 50K. I don't believe it just because of the way that this is kind of curled up right here. You're starting to see a lot of interest. You have a nice green candle, and this is on the weekly. I'm zooming a little bit more so you can kind of moving my lines out here. Hopefully don't do that too much. But you can again see here, it kind of curved up here, rejected right on our line. This line is the same line where it bounced here. And if you look further back, that's where we had a little bit of action right there. So another interesting point in the future, we'll kind of go back to that. I'm more than positive about that because that rejection, Kate, brought us all the way back here where we bounced. Now this bounce right here, it kind of flattened. This is where you've saw every KOL that listened or watched another KOL said this is where we're going, or this is the bottom, this is it, this is where we're at. And so far they've been pretty damn spot on with that. This is a very good call for realizing where the bottom could have been. But I've told people, like, if you're just getting into crypto right now, this is probably a good opportunity for you to start dollar cost averaging into any asset just to see how the stuff goes. Don't have to put your life savings into it. Just put 20 bucks for 4 weeks and just see how that feels. And then you can kind of scale up, get a better understanding, idea, tune into spaces, watch more content, use smsai.fund to learn a little bit more about blockchain and what you can actually do here. But if you're looking for long-term savings and you're looking to, win in the long game, I mean, Bitcoin's just one that hedges inflation and is a good store of value. There are, some things you can do it, but in my opinion, you probably want to put yourself in a position over on Solana where you have more upside potential and growth just because of how massive its numbers have been and how incredible. Last five quarters, I did a video on this as well. Last 5 quarters, we've led in decentralized exchange volume, and it's not letting up. Like there's no competition when it comes to that because of the speed and the cost. Bottom line, I think those are the 2 things that's really all you need to understand. The fact that all of these companies are settling in and stable coins is another big interesting point of contention when it comes to why Solana. Now the price action hasn't followed up yet, but I do think once we recover this, if we can come up and make a nice W right here, like I drew this up before the W happened, guys. I'm not fucking perfect at this stuff, but looking at it enough, you start to see patterns, you start to see things that make sense. So I drew this W and I said, all right, if this comes down here and it curls around here, maybe we come up, we get a little bit of a cutback down to 75 or so. That should be enough to take us up. And then if you kind of just envision what this would look like, looks very similar to these kind of recoveries. And I would be keen to say like that's where we're at. Now, how long would this take? I can't tell you that. I can't expect it. I think we have an upside potential throughout the rest of the summer, and that would put us somewhere around this area, maybe. Like, I don't know if it goes to these numbers, but I think we kind of trend up towards the summer. Maybe we have a sell off, and then we kind of kick back up into the winter, into that 2027. That's just my take on it, 2 cents. I don't know what the price of anything is going to be at the end of the year, but this is Bitcoin. Bitcoin usually is the one that's going to steer the ship and raise all tides when it comes down to it. So let's go take a look at Solana. Okay. Not as much crazy drawing on this one, but you can kind of see that this is very, very obvious to me. You have all the way back here, the first run up back in 2021, where we came up here, topped out FTX, yada, yada, yada. But we did hold right here, bounced up, looked like we were gonna, maybe recover this way, but nope, the rest of it poured out. But where do we fill the gap? Where do we have, support, resistance, bouncing, all of that kind of stuff? Well, we had it right here where we're at today. So, right, if you held all the way from 2022, you'd be at the same amount of money roughly right now, which is crazy because you had so much opportunity here and here. But right here where it bounced, and right here where it free falled all the way through there, we did have a little bit of a support right there. So that's 1-2 places that are super interesting, and then we call this 3. So if this recovery does happen here, we would likely see this start to trend up right off of this one right here, and maybe get to, where do we have this block right here, the same point where we had it on Bitcoin. This one's at about 95 bucks or so right here. So imagine we run up to 95, we got to break through that, we got to get above these hurdles right here, and I would guess this cup top right there about 110 to 125 bucks. If we can recover and hold those, that's probably where you'll bounce here. Now, one of the things that this box right here, this is super important in my opinion, because if you look at these lines all the way back here, again, it coincides with a lot of the activity, the traffic. I call it traffic because you have the intersecting lines. It just makes it easier for people to understand. But we had this coil up, we had this bullish flag, and it broke out textbook, came up here, double top, broke down, recovered, came up here, formed a W, tried to make a new all-time high, but we got rejected. Same points of contention pretty much across the board as far as highs. We barely made no all-time high. Let's not kid ourselves. But it was a sell-off from this event. You did have that recovery in between, but it really didn't change anything. It just slid back down. Now, looking at the weekly, where we're at now, where it's holding up at these points back here, my gut and my feeling is that this is the bottom. This is a good point to be adding as much as you can. Is there a chance that it goes to 40, 50? Possibly. Does it? I don't fucking know. We haven't made a higher high yet on the overall. If you zoom in more, yeah, we are looking pretty good here, but the last 2 days have been kind of crap. So we can zoom in a little bit more because I just think it kind of makes sense when we're looking at Solana at that level. So let's see what we got here. Reset that. So that's good. That's you can see again here. You kind of have this cup fill, like this pattern works out if you can start to notice it. You have your cup. What's this distance? Let's go put this over here at the bottom of your handle, roughly. Let's draw a line across here. That's where your resistance, reject, 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 reject. Just hold tight, big dog, I'm telling you. And then you see this guy, that's your handle, right? Let's just move this over. Oh, I need another line. Hold on. Just delete that. So this line right here, maybe it's perfect, maybe it's not, I don't know. But we're gonna take this and let's just put it right over here where we topped out at. You see what I'm saying? If you have a cup, you have a handle, you get a 50% drawback, because again, if we take, just say this right here, right? Let's just put a line right through the middle, right where we had that rejection, right? See that W right there? It's almost perfect, like 50%. That's where you measure that. You have the drawback right there. Then you measure the gap, and then you say, I'm going to buy here. We're going to hold till it gets to this length. And if it does finish out, you got that trade. You had it from 67 to 80 some bucks, and it's just based off of the technicals right here. Nothing crazy, nothing complicated. I use it over and over and over again. You can use it on the small like charts or the big charts. I would say it's better on anything like an hour chart, or maybe you can find it in other ones. I'm just saying, understand it better on a bigger chart and a slower time frame rather than these fast, rapid changes, because like those changes can be like that. And if you're doing anything leverage related and swing trading, you're gonna get fucked. But if you're doing long term, these are the points where you want to be like, okay, I recognize this looks like a bottom. You have a higher low set up here. A W is forming on this one. Let's see where it goes here. And if it does like top out there, you're like, okay, I missed my entry. I was just hesitant, but I am confident in what I see here. If it does go 50% and it bounces off of this top of the W, I'm getting in right there. I'm going to run this up and hopefully I can get out between 75, 80 bucks in that trade. Or this will just be my dollar cost average entry, and I'll try to get as much as I can around these levels. Those are two good ways to look at this. But again, that's on the 4 hours. You go back out to the weekly. You can see how little this matters at all in the grand scheme of things. You can't even see it on the chart, right? So let's go back to the 4 hour. And look, stupid ass line. But you get the idea, guys. It's pretty simple there. Now, what am I looking at from here? I'm going to take this line, kind of extend it over here, because this is where a lot of the price action started from. This is where this whole movement, if you're going to look at this like a trend, let's look for, this is the right one. No, I want, let's go. Parallel channel. Okay. I want to do this. And this isn't going to be perfect, but you'll see what I'm doing. Now, if you extend this out a little bit more, we're in a nice trend, a nice uptrend. That's why I'm looking at these lines. Like if you take this down a little bit lower and adjust it, you can get a little more perfect, but you're going to have some changes in that. Like that probably makes more sense. If you want to be specific, boom. There's your uptrend channel. That's what you want to be looking at. So you started this off cup and a handle. You started at it, saw that it was starting to trend. You're in a low leverage long that you can add size and collateral to. You're gonna lower the amount of leverage you have, but you'll have more skin in the game when it comes down to that. Now, if this breaks below here, you probably would be good, but I mean that's just, it's depends on where you got in for, where you take profits. Set rules, follow your fucking rules all the way through this thing, and you can't lose. But the biggest thing is to keep income coming in, or making enough profit off of your trades where you can use that as income. All of it's risky. You got to choose what's risky or what's going to have the most upside potential and benefit and bang for your buck. You saw that we went flat here, came back down, sold off, reversed right there. You got a trend, you got something to look at, you got something to cook with. So that's what I'm gonna leave you with as far as the TA. Like I said, I'm not super technical, but I know what I'm looking at when it comes down to these things. I called out Clanosaurs because of their chart, because of what I've seen, because of the fundamentals. Technicals told me that this is going to move. I told somebody that they should sell what they had immediately and go grab these things, like one or two of them, if they could afford it, and they would have made upside of 15 to 20, depending on the rarity that they had, so on and so forth, because people were buying them like crazy because of the announcement with Prime and Amazon and all of that good stuff. So another reason to kind of stick around, man. Like, I don't know everything, but I do have a good eye, good understanding of what's going on in the market, and I do like to make sure other people win, because if you can help them win, like, you don't have to have the same trade. You just have to understand what you're looking at and find ways to, just bottom line help people in this space. It's not hard. Now, when it comes to meme coins, all of this stuff doesn't really track the same exact way, but they are fun to get in, but highly risky and volatile. Let me take a quick look and see where things are at. Yo, we're at an hour. I am going to cut this one off here because I got some work I got to get done. I would love to hang out and talk and look at everything else and some of the bookmarks, but maybe I will plan Monday's GM chat around some updates, some news, bookmarks, and kind of talk a little bit more about that stuff. Just because of time, I want to get back to the grind. So thanks for tuning in, guys. This is the Friday. This is the first GM chat of this series. We're going to keep this thing going. A couple of reminders. On Thursday, we have Tebow Takeover. This will be part 4. It'll be, I think, number 9 of Studio Spaces. As you guys can see, we're in the studio. So we named them Studio Spaces as we started things back off. We got 9 of them. They haven't been, week after week. They've been pretty close to that, but just a lot has been going on. And, from me going from Airbnbs to getting myself, a lease in an apartment out here, Just wanted to make sure that I got the foundation set up. Now it's time to cook. Now it's time to put one brick in at a time and build that foundation up. Solana Midwest, looking to get that booth set up as soon as possible. The sooner I get the funding from the sponsors, the sooner you guys are going to hear about when Top Golf is happening. If we got to push Top Golf off for another one, it's not going to really break my heart. We can go to a coffee shop. We can do a co-working event. Maybe we can get some things done, but we need to get people together. Maybe we can use that to get the booth running, because we have Solana Space merch that we have to get out to people and have to onboard people. I've also talked to a couple of the cold storage wallets that I've been working with. And again, it's not a one size fits all. If anybody tells you differently, it's because they're paid to, it's their company. And I don't shame you on that. But again, I'm not on contract. I'm just trying to show the good people what's available. And if they want to spend their money in a safe way, you're going to go with Tangent. If you just want to hold it up tight and you never really touch it, you're going to be putting that in your rider. Simple as that. You got NFTs. My best advice is look at Ledger or Tangent, but Tangent doesn't take CNFTs or PNFTs. So if you have them, you're going to lose it. You need to make sure that they're SPL token NFTs. So that's your little quick bit for that. As far as studio spaces without Tebow, I want to do more spaces, but right now I'm trying to join in more spaces, just listening, see where I can chime in. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of competition with attention. So instead of taking away from anybody else, since they have things that are concurrent and going on right now, I'm looking at how I can add to the pie there and maybe bring them to the show. One of the things he was suggesting with me is doing live streaming, where we're going to actually read the book, which is probably something we will be doing very shortly here. He did have a live stream with Kaizen, which is doing Solana Pulse, I think is what they call it. I don't know if that's just a newsletter or not, but he did a little bit of an interview and brought him on there, which was a great idea. And he said he's going to be jumping into, I think he's going on the Soulflare one as well. There's a lot of places that he's going to be dropping into, but if you're looking to get involved in the trivia, if you're looking to get involved into the giveaways and get involved with the community spaces and hear a little bit from the people that were part of that, we are looking to get them to stop by, seeing if they can, or we're going to be going to their spaces as well, doing some of the readings and the giveaways and stuff like that. So pull up at Thursdays, 8:30 CST. That's 9:30 for the East Coast. You can kind of figure it out from there. It's just math, baby. It's simple stuff out here. But that's all I got. You guys have a good rest of your day. This is available on YouTube and on X. And